Good morning, YouTube. JT Serenity Farms prepping here with a tyrannical dictator update. And by tyrannical dictator, I can refer to any number of socialist mayors and governors in libtard cesspool states. Okay, but the topic is virtual learning. Is that what it's really all about? Of course not. We've known this since the start of the pandemic. This is not for the children or the adults or the planet. It's for the corporate globalist and collapsing America to make a third world shithole, enslaving us all for the elite's pleasure. So, as beer virus stats plummet, death rates especially, as all fake, inflated, positive cases are exposed. China just had a massive beach party with live music and thousands of people celebrating in a pool in Wuhan City. We all know what Wuhan City is popular for, right? Okay. So, we all know it's a scam. We all know the intent of the scam. But it's fall, and children and buckets of mush should be returning to grade school, high school, and places of higher learning. Alright, but we're going to focus on the children. Okay? We already know that the online virtual thing is terrible for everyone involved, no matter what way you try and spin it. Children up to high school do not have the capabilities physically or mentally to virtual learn. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that. They need the interaction of other children, physically and mentally. They need to empirically see the teacher, have the teacher be able to walk down by their desk and help them with a problem. They don't have the attention span for virtual learning. They don't grasp material the way they need to when it's on a computer, as opposed to actively interacting with their teacher and other students. That's just fact. The teachers know this. That's why all their demands have absolutely nothing to do with the safety of the children. We've all seen the list of their demands before they'll go back into the schools. Nowhere on it is there anything pro-American or for the children, because most teachers are leftists. And their union is the biggest in the country, the most abusive, and has an agenda. So, this particular case, I saw another YouTube channel that I like a lot, Dave Hodges on the Common Sense Show. Very good. And I had already heard about a couple other tyrannical virtual learning incidences. And then I heard this one just this morning, as a matter of fact, and decided I need to make a quick video and tell you what is going to be happening. Is happening. So, Baltimore, Maryland. Conservative hotbed, right? There was a lady, her last name is Sperry. Her 10-year-old boy was doing some virtual learning. Well, the teacher happened to see an item in the distant background that really upset them so much that they had to call the principal and the police. So the police show up at the house, no warrant, come in and do a search. Alright, first off, they wouldn't have got through my door. No warrant, hit the road. Whatever happens after that, we'll deal with. Okay, the principal, who had been notified by the teacher, could have called the house. They have all the information. Could have spoke to the mom who was home at the time and mentioned the teacher's angst over what they had seen, discussed the issue like rational human beings, and came to a solution. But the principal didn't do that. On the contrary, the vice principal took it upon themselves to call the home under the guise of being someone else and started asking very intrusive questions, basically committing fraud and impersonation. So the police came, did their thing, went. Nothing else has come of it at this time. So you can probably guess what the terrifying item in the far distance was. It was a gun. A BB gun. Now, most libtards are completely uneducated when it comes to firearms, ammunition, anything related to our Second Amendment. They don't want to know facts. They just want to plug the narrative. Alright, so, had this teacher had any education whatsoever, pun intended, about firearms, she would have recognized that particular item for what it really was. She could have also asked to speak to the boy's mom virtually on the computer and said, I see this in the background, that concerns me, and let the mom handle it from there. But no, that's not the agenda. Okay, so as far as I know, CPS did not get involved in this because once the police got there, looked at the situation, made a determination, talked to the mom, arrangements were supposedly made to not trigger the teacher again. Pun intended, in case any libtards watching don't get this. And the situation was resolved. But that teacher's blatant bias will still be there now for this child and that parent. Okay? So this is going to happen a whole lot more. There's no doubt about it. It's going to happen as woke teachers are somehow convinced that it is their duty and obligation to penalize anybody that they see, hear, doing something they don't believe is moral and ethical. Alright? It will go as far, mark my words, if the child is in an office and there is a Trump 2020 flag or poster on the wall, or a MAGA hat sitting on the shelf, that teacher will experience a brain lock. Maybe. They're going to get triggered, and there's going to be consequences. Any little thing that a socialist teacher doesn't approve of that is seen or heard on a virtual learning experience, they're going to do what they think they need to do to get it resolved. Okay, that's that one. Now, just a few days ago, teachers in one state, which I cannot remember, have come up with a waiver. Not optional, unless you don't want your child to be taught. It is a waiver the parents must sign stating that they will not watch and observe any of the virtual learning sessions. Excuse me? What possible reason can a rational human being think of why a teacher would not want a parent to watch what is being taught to their son or daughter? Because there's only two genders. Why would a teacher not want me as a parent to be involved in my child's learning and knowing what they're being taught? For the same exact reason, they don't want us in the classrooms. Indoctrination, changing history, promoting their hatred, their racism, their bigotry, their phobias, their anti-Americanism on the children. I hope parents are not signing these waivers. I know some libtard ones will. Now, let's talk about virtual learning overall. And we can't talk about the benefits of it because I don't believe there are any. We're talking grade school children. High school, college, potentially, most of them are already brainwashed by that time anyway, so what are they actually going to learn? But by then, their attention span should be that of a gnat, at least. Alright, so, your child's going to be virtually learning, and you're a two-working parent household. What are you going to do? Are one of you going to quit your job to be home while the child has classes? Are you going to hire someone to come sit with your child while they have classes? We're talking kindergarten through 8th grade here. Maybe 6th or 7th grade until the high schools, till what age you determine your child can stay at home by themselves. So it's going to cost money that people don't have. A lot of parents without jobs right now, so they're like, oh, it's okay, one of us is here all the time. How long are you going to survive on one or none parent incomes? Okay, now let's get to the child's health. You're inside all day. You're not active. There's no recess. There's no gym. There's no walking to the lunchroom. There's no changing classrooms. There's no mental stimulation. There's no meeting people of every race and nationality throughout your school and just being kids. It's gone. Their health is going to deteriorate worse than it already has. Depression, suicide, all-time highs. Adults, it's even worse with the alcoholism, the drug abuse, assaults, sexual abuse. The children are the victims of this. Intentionally. Do not think for a minute. None of this is not intentional. Remember, if the globalists get their way, in a few years, these children are the worker bees, the slaves, the leaders of the future. Completely indoctrinated on socialism and communism, unable to think for themselves, dependent on the government for everything, a perfect worker drone zombie. If your children are about to begin virtual learning for this school year, I hope that to the best of your abilities you are making arrangements to be there the entire time and not afraid to speak out immediately when you hear teachers start spewing all the crap that we don't believe in. There is no way any of this ends up good. Alright, on a brighter note, viewership is up. Thank you. Likes are up. Getting some comments on both sides. That's fine. Like that diversity of opinion. So, continue. Like, share, subscribe, drop those comments. Word is getting out. We have to stop what is happening. We are out of time. But for now, JT signing off.